Listeners, sometimes self worth is not found in moments of success, but in the quiet rebuilding that happens after life breaks us open. In the spaces where adversity strips away who we thought we had to be, something more honest begins to emerge. Today's conversation is about that remembering. Welcome to Soul Sparks, where we share short, soulful conversations meant to light something gentle yet powerful within you. I am Pragya, and I am joined today by Julie Feldman, who brings over 2 decades of experience in health, wellness, movement, energy work, and self development. Together, we'll explore how adversity can shape self worth and how spirituality, yoga, and intentional tools can help us heal, reconnect, and live from a deeper sense of truth. And with that, Julie, welcome to the show. I'm really honored, and it's my pleasure to host you today. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you. I'm really grateful to be here and connect and just have a conversation.
That is beautiful. And Julie, to set the context as of now, I want to know that when you look back on your own journey, what moment or season most challenged how you saw your own worth? And what was that moment which, actually let you question that, okay, this is the time that I look into my own worth and, to work upon it and be aware of what I want and what I deserve?
I think there's two pivotal moments in my life where self-worth really came into the focus. Um, and I mean, it was one of those factors that was subtly always there, the unworthiness that I felt from a young age, just being raised in the environment I was raised in. I learned kind of an unreliable parenting and for emotional stability. And what that does to a young child is it can create a fixer, a person who's like questions their own self-worth because one day they're validated and the next day they're not. So they really don't know their place, their grounding, their worth, right? Because it's not being reflected back to them. And so that was kind of an undercurrent for most of my life, which I didn't even realize. And so when I had my daughter, I have 3 children, and my middle one was extremely challenging. She had some neurodiversity at an early age, and I gave everything. I was giving everything to my children. I was giving everything to my husband. I was giving everything to fix this problem, and there was nothing left for myself. So in reflection now, I see that person who was so hurt and so in her unworth, that she couldn't value herself, her time, her needs to support the things around her and also receive. So I say that was a really deep transformative time in my life when I began to shift and look at where I grew up, how I grew up, the ways that it affected me. And then the second time was just recently. I would say about 3.5 years ago, as I entered into a really difficult and traumatic divorce. It really brought me to my knees. I had to face a lot of betrayals from him, from me, things, you betray yourself emotionally, because you're telling this beautiful lie, right? That you have this beautiful life when this moment flashes.
Spoke about your journey, and there are always those moments, where generally for everybody out there, wherein you just have this gut feeling also that this is the time that I want to know about what my self-worth is, and I actually want to work on it. And how many times can an individual, always let go of their self-worth? And that is a question that always comes up. And thank you for sharing your journey with us today, because it is beautiful and that realization is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I just hope by sharing it kind of creates light for others who may be beginning to question what's going on in their own lives and how to find their self-worth as well. So,
That is beautiful. And now, I'm curious, that many people, they believe that self-worth is something that you build once and then, keep it forever. So from your experience, what tends to be misunderstood about self-worth? Because we know what the definition is, how to work upon self-worth. There is a general idea, but what are the misconceptions about self-worth that people keep on having, and they also follow that up too much?
oh, that's such a good question. I'm going to try my best to answer it, but I do think that there's this idea of that, I've realized that I had no, self-worth, right? Or I was lacking in one area of feeling confident about, I don't know, the way I look or the career I have, or just in general, just feeling not empowered in my daily life, right? And I've realized that, and I've gone to this yoga class or seen this therapist, and now I'm good. And I just think that it's something that we work on all the time, because just like an onion, there are so many layers of self-worth to unpack. And I think true mastery is just having having that peace, that and that faith and that trust that all is in your life as it should be, and knowing that it all will work out, and there's flow and there's reverence for yourself and for others. And to me, I think that is a masterful state to be in, and it's really challenging, and I think it takes years and years of unpacking what what happened to us, why we're here, what we're here to do, what we're here to serve, who we're here, like how we serve. All of these things really have something to do with our worth. And the more we tap into that, right, the more we can begin to truly like be set free and live in peace and joy. So it's kind of a long winded answer, but I really do believe that like it is the largest onion in the world, where you just peel one layer at a time as you gain wisdom and age and growth. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
It totally does. And there are so many misconceptions that grow around self-worth, and that is such an important reframe because, self-worth, what I feel that self-worth is not fixed, but it is something that we return to again and again, especially when life tests us through situations and, circumstances, because self-worth, what is worth? It's already there, and you can't always just, fix it or retrim it. Its meaning must change, its, degree must change, but
bring up such a good point, because it's like when we get triggered by something, there's like another layer in our body that maybe we didn't even know was there. And if like when we're not triggered by an external source, then we've probably done the work on it. But when we are triggered, it's like, oh, there's one more level to this that I need to work through. And that is connected to your self-worth, honestly. So you bring up a really good point.
it's absolutely true, and thank you for actually, adding up to it, because that is something that I feel the listeners would also resonate with. And let's stay with that for a moment. And now let's talk about adversity. So when adversity it hits, what people patterns usually get activated around worth, identity, or belonging. Because, as you said, whenever there is a traumatic incident that happens, you know, the first thing that we come up to is your identity, one's belonging, and their worth. And those are very vulnerable situations that we are in. And these are also very vulnerable, yet strong points that we always question. So, what are the patterns that you usually, see in people? And yeah, what is your take?
I think that depending on, all we all have different traumas and triggers, so it can range quite a bit. But I do see people have the narrative of like, this is happening to me. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? This is happening to me again. Oh my, and that narrative, I think I probably lived in that narrative for a long time. And I wanna say victim lightly because I think that that could also bring up some triggers, but we sometimes truly are the victim, but sometimes we get really comfortable in the victim, and that victim mind is, "This happening to me. What is wrong with me?" Again, and I think if we can flip the narrative and look at it as these patterns keep occurring in someone's life because they're little signals. Signals that something isn't in alignment, signals that something that you're participating in or acting in is not to your best and highest good. And it's like a wake up call. And it's up to us to identify it and say, well, why is this happening? And hey, is this happening to me or is this happening for me? Because a lot of the things that happen, and I'm going to say in quotes to us, are really happening for us to alert us that we can change the script in our head, we can change the trajectory of our life, we can change and shift and sort of move through this time with more wisdom if we choose to reflect on why it's happening and how I can gain knowledge and wisdom and sort of the keys to a better life. So that's a big one that I see.
And that resonates deeply because, as you said, that there is so much which keeps on coming with it, and it's again your life, and nobody is going to write it for you. And it it it's again the very basic thing that life is not linear, and it always won't have the same smooth path over there. So even if traumatic situations come up and you trigger up your own self-worth and question about yourself, I think that is the way inner disconnection exists. And even if look away from it and um, try to get away from it, you can't. It's life, and you deal with it. But there are always ways to deal with it, and healthier ways. And we're going to talk about that too with Julie today. And Julie, you work with yoga, spirituality, intentional tools. And when someone they feels disconnected from their worth, where do you often invite them to begin and to start with? As I earlier said, that there are always ways to come back to our self worth. So, what are those ways that you feel are worthy enough to talk about today?
I absolutely agree. There are always ways to come back to self and to use the tools. And it was really important to me as I was developing Orenda to create an intentional brand where it's sort of this company worked on me and my growth and my worth as I was working on it. It's so interesting. And so in all of our products, we have an intention that helps to strengthen that idea of self-worth within each of us. And whichever It's an I am statement. I am peace. I am joy. I am wisdom. I am grace. I am beauty. Within each of those intentions, they're written on either the yoga towel or a yoga mat as we practice. And it's a reminder, it's those subtle reminders for yourself to reprogram your neural pathways because we can often get caught and we are caught in the like our brain works as like a well created highway system with all the infrastructure already written and or written created, and so our mainstream of words flow through that network all the time, and in order to shift it we have to build a new road, and that's why intentions are so important, and it's such an important tool in building self-worth, because it's we've gotta do the work, and we also have to create the new infrastructure of words to go along with it, and I think it's just a magical tool, and there's been so many studies that show how repetition and the energy of a word can actually shift a person's outcome, so yeah, I think spirituality has been a big part of this journey, and that comes with meditation and setting intentions, and I can't speak highly enough about it.
So, where can listeners connect with you or learn more about your work and community?
Okay, yeah, great. I can be reached on social media at Instagram or TikTok at Arenda. That's spelled Aurenda. And our product website is arenda.us, AURENDA.us. And another platform to find out a little bit more about um, me on the personal side and will be Julie.f.Feldman, and that will be on Instagram. So I hope that helps. Reach out with any questions. Love to connect with you and your audience.
For spending these moments with us on Soul Sparks. If today's conversation stirred something within you, listeners, take it as an invitation not to rush forward but to soften inward. And until next time, keep honoring your journey and the quiet strength it's shaping within you.